Libya's Moammar Gadhafi is killed by revolutionary forces. So now what? On the phone with us is award-winning journalist and Newsmax contributor Arnaud de Borchgrave. Thanks for joining us, Arnaud.
My pleasure.
You interviewed Moammar Gadhafi 6 times during your career as a journalist.
That's correct, including the first one he ever gave back in September of 1969.
Can you talk about what he was like?
It was very engaging. I've had many private, off-the-record conversations with him, and one was actually relaying a message to Jim Woolsey when he was director of the CIA back in 1993, because at that point he was very concerned about Islamist extremism growing in the eastern part of his country, which he referred to as the Green Mountain area near Benghazi, and he wanted to make sure that he and the CIA were on the same wavelength about Islamist extremism. And also he demonstrated this by cooperating with the agency on some of those problems that were attendant to extremism.
What does the death of Gadhafi mean for Libya's future?
Well, I think it's a major plus. Gadhafi has been also a big sort of thorn in the side of the entire globe. He has used subversion and lavishly funded extremism underground, what I would call disinformation, to destabilize the regimes that he was trying to to overthrow, to help those who were in the business of replacing them. I remember when he sent an expeditionary force all the way to Dar es Salaam to help to go cross-country to help Idi Amin in Uganda, but by the time they got there, Idi Amin had already sought refuge in Saudi Arabia. He's been a big nuisance all over the world, and I think everybody's delighted to see him go.
There are reports that Gadhafi had foreign bank accounts worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Do you know anything about this and who will end up with the Gadhafi fortune?
Well, I have no idea who will wind up with it, because it has to be what he has underground. I think it's about $70 million, has to be found first. As for what he has around the world in various deposits, I would imagine that will take a long time to adjudicate.
Do you think oil prices will fall as Libyan production increases?
Well, it's going to be some time before it increases. We're talking about half a year or a full year before everything gets repaired and in working order. How it will impact world oil prices is a little difficult to forecast right now, though I think we should point out that the most of Libyan oil goes to Western Europe.
After Libya, is Syria next?
I do not believe so. Syria has a very strong secret police intelligence apparatus that controls the country. They've killed, I think, about 33,500 people so far in putting down the countrywide rebellion. It's also got it controls the country through its 14 intelligence services a lot better than Gadhafi controlled Libya. And also we should remember that regime has been in power since 1970. Assad's father was the head of the Air Force. He took over in 1970 and now has been replaced by his rather mild-mannered son. But I think he's not the guy who is in charge right now. It's a younger brother who's very tough and a chip off the old block.
The plot to assassinate the Saudi ambassador in Washington. Now, Pat Buchanan tells Newsmax the way it was reported has an aroma of fish to him. His words. What do you say? Well,
I'd say it has an aroma of rotten fish, because it's not quite the way it's been made out to be. In fact, there are indications today that the famous operative that was allegedly working for Iran's Al-Quds force, that's the branch of the military that deals with terrorism abroad, spreading terrorism abroad, helping terrorist movements abroad, could very well have been from a totally different organization that has very little to do with Tehran.
Do you expect the U.S. or the Saudis to retaliate for that attempted plot?
No, I don't. I think that everybody's being very careful not to take Iran to the edge of a military showdown. The 3 former CENTCOM commanders that I know and have spoken publicly about this, General Zinni, General Abizaid, and Admiral Fallon, all 3 have said that we should learn to live with an Iranian nuclear bomb. I think by that they mean that Iran is surrounded by 4 of the world's 8 nuclear powers. They're an ancient civilization, and they also have formidable asymmetrical retaliatory capabilities up and down the entire Persian Gulf. They can close the Straits of Hormuz, obviously not for long, but just the very fact that it was closed, even for a short period, would, I think, treble oil prices around the world.
Is there a possibility of a proxy war for control of Iraq between Iran and Saudi Arabia?
I doubt it. There's a sort of secret service, secret intelligence war going on at several levels, but the kind of asymmetrical showdown that you're asking about between Saudi Arabia and Iran, I think is highly unlikely.
Arnaud de Borchgrave, as always, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And we thank you for watching Newsmax TV.